Hey everyone, so I wanted to do a quick recap on a fantastic book I've read and a section of this book and how it kind of relates to what people undergo when they want to make nutritional or lifestyle changes. So, first of all, the book was Legacy. And it's written by James Kerr. It's just a great book. I know that it is obviously centered around the All Blacks, and obviously there's a connection there with myself being Kiwi. However, it does have some great kind of concepts throughout the book, and I do think it's a very easy but great read, so highly recommend this book. And the one kind of aspect I wanted to talk about today regarding what was in the book is change. And we know that change is difficult. It doesn't come easy. We like to stick to our old ways. Most humans don't like to kind of change their ways. They're stuck in their ways. And the longer, you get stuck in your ways, the harder it is to change. So the first thing they basically said with regards to change is there needs to be a case for change. So what this kind of means is there needs to be a strong enough reason for you want to change. So, for example, if you want to lose weight, and you know that the change you need to make is more from a nutritional perspective, because obviously that plays usually the bigger role in someone's need or losing weight is the nutrition and what we consume and how much we're eating, and potentially as well drinking, especially from like an alcoholic side as well. We know that there's a lot of calories that can be consumed via alcohol. So there needs to be this kind of change in order to want to lose weight. And realistically, we need to come up with the strongest or a strong enough reason to want to change, because ideally you're not eating that way because it's potentially the best way. You're eating that way because you enjoy it and potentially you enjoy socializing in big portions and eating out and all these things that are very, very enjoyable. You might not want to change that unless the reason for you wanting to lose weight is big enough. It is the bigger kind of encompassing thing that you're willing to start making some changes and some sacrifices and start working on things day by day in order to establish a change and therefore a result. The second part of the kind of puzzle towards change that they state in the book is a compelling picture of the future. So this kind of starts to go from, okay, I want to change, okay, I want to get to here. So, for example, this could be, okay, I'm pre-diabetic. I want to get to the point where I am cleared of being pre-diabetic. I sit in the non-risk category. So this is someone kind of picturing their future, and they can use that as a driver. It's basically their purpose. Once again, it reinforces why someone is willing to change, why someone is doing or starting to do something that is basically change. So it needs to be personal. It needs to start from one's environment. They need to look at potentially what is hindering them from creating change, and that can sometimes be the people around them. It can sometimes be as simple as kind of sorting out your household and what's available in your direct environment. There's some external things that we won't be able to change, but it may be that when we go out to restaurants, we look to order things that will help us stay within our target points. So for example, maybe you order like the meat and vegetable dish and you hold the fries, or maybe you're going to a burger restaurant, you say, I'll go without the bun and the chips and I'll just have the insides of a burger in order to stay within your targets. And these are just examples, but basically what you need is purpose, and it needs to be personal to you. Thirdly, they come up with, in the kind of reams of what you need to do to change, is a sustained capacity to change. So this is essentially learning over time, taking on things day to day. So if we get 1% better every single day, that adds up over time and we become better and better. And then this basically adds, and essentially it kind of comes around to what I say when people start a journey as well, is essentially when you start losing weight and when you start changing your lifestyle, it isn't a destination. It isn't a I'm going to go from A, get to B, and then just merge my way back to A again, because the habits and things that you install along the way to get you to your result is essentially what you're going to need to maintain when you get there. So it needs to be enjoyable, it needs to be sustainable. And this is learning about things along the way. So this isn't something you'll get overnight. This is learning as you go through what works for you, what doesn't work for you. A simple example of this is for myself. I've learned that I always need something, usually in the afternoon, a high protein snack, in order not to overconsume at dinner or start like nibbling and snacking on things. That basically keeps me in a sustained way on the ability to reach my caloric targets and stay within my caloric targets just by adding something as small as a high protein snack, most afternoons. That just keeps me online. And this is the things you'll learn along the way and you'll change along the way, but it needs to be sustainable, enjoyable, and something that you can continue. It can't be an A to B destination. And then finally, the final kind of aspect they come up with in the book, to like the last point of how to change something, is a creditable plan to execute. And this basically comes back to having a plan, making a plan, being accountable. This is the biggest point. Like, be accountable to yourself, but also if that's not enough for you to stay accountable and stay on point, get a coach, become accountable to a coach. I currently have a coach at the moment, and the change between me prior to starting with this coach was I could let little things slip. Now I am so on point and loving the drive I have off the accountability I have with those weekly check-ins with the coach, because I know that someone is going to be checking in with me to make sure I am ticking the boxes and hitting my targets. And this adds up over time and is key long term. So make a plan, have accountability, achieve flow. Find a point where routines become so natural, habitual things become so natural that you're not having to overthink the process. It happens naturally. This will take time, but the more kind of things that you put in place and make things easy for yourself, such as like I meal prep on a Sunday and therefore I have all my meals prepped for the week. Things like that start to become flow, start to become automatic, and therefore they just happen and your targets start getting hit and it just becomes all very flow. And then allow the plan to adapt and grow as you do. So don't throw everything at the kitchen sink at it right at the beginning by kind of going, all right, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to run a mile, I'm going to, build over time. We don't need to go from zero to hero overnight. We just need to add over time, and therefore we will add and get better and change and adapt. So that basically wraps up what the book spoke about with regards to change. I know change is difficult, however, it most definitely can be done. Be accountable, have a plan, have someone that you check into that keeps you on point. Hope this helps. Any questions, just pop the questions below in the comment section below. Thanks everyone.